that. Ooh, crowded Sentinel fort here. The boys are out tonight.
We're in a post-blue wave world, folks.
This is a post-blue wave world.
How do you
Welcome
feel?
to Pod Save America. I'm Sam Sachs, joined by Sam Knight.
Favreau.
The one, the only, intern Nate is in the house.
Intern
right
Nate.
here.
Wait, give him the mic.
Give him the mic. Give
Hold the
intern,
mic.
Intern Nate the mic.
Hello.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
We also got Shepe is in the house. We've knighted Shepe as a District Sentinel midterm elections correspondent this evening.
There
There
you go.
you go.
Could have had me, but District Sentinel got me.
That's right. We got you.
So
Nate.
a little thing off the top, just because this is a news thing. Everyone knows by now the House has been given to the Dims.
Well, I think we've already. I don't know if
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
any more alerts here.
There are no more alerts.
Well, there is actually one alert. Can I do one alert right off the bat? Here?
Alert me, Daddy.
Okay, I'm gonna alert you.
Are we alerting?
Yeah, we're alerting. Sorry.
Alerta, antifascista, alerta.
During our last break, Claire McCaskill conceded.
Oh, this was.
So
This is why you never slide into Sam Knight's DMs.
This is a reference. Claire McCaskill did slide into my DMs during the Ferguson disturbances
Wow.
because she was claiming that people were shooting at cop cars, and I said, "Excuse me, Claire McCaskill, why are you repeating the lies of the cops without even fucking like?" There are cops crawling everywhere. Where's the forensic evidence of this? Show us fucking bullet holes in cop cars. And she like DM'd me. She slid into my DMs being like, "I'm here," or something.
And she
And where are you now,
She's a
Claire
bootlicker.
McCaskill?
She's a bootlicker.
That's right.
She was also a bootlicker on J20 at the inauguration.
Speak more into the microphone.
She was also a bootlicker in J20 in the inauguration of Trump when hundreds of people were arrested and given felony charges just for the march that they were in. So she's like a bootlicker. She was immediately like, a lot of us are upset right now, but you guys get what you deserve for trying to break things and be
as the advice we gave to Joe Donnelly earlier in the evening.
So now that you brought that up, and
That trash can was an American.
By the way, on our To Be Honest, wouldn't mind seeing them go 2 out of 3.
Oh yeah, that's great.
it's
Three gone.
who survived? Oh, Manchin
Joe
survived.
Manchin
Yeah,
survived.
Manchin survived.
You guys were celebrating the defeats. Oh, that's great.
Just a few.
So
Donnelly
so
needs to-
Shepe, do you think that now that the House Democrats will have subpoena power, do you have any hope that they will do anything about J20, subpoena the DOJ?
Yeah,
I'm sure that's at the top of
I
their
think
list.
They're not going to. I don't think they're going to subpoena for anything. What is
Why am I even asking that fucking question?
Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe
I'm
to
just-
find out if J20 was a Russian front.
I'm sorry. Did we cut you off?
No, I think you're exactly on the right track. I don't think that she's going to subpoena for anything, whether it's the RussiaGate bullshit or it's this. It's like she's not touching anything at all.
So one more thing. People note that we are the one bit of news we're still going to watch tonight. We don't even care about California at this point. Let's.
I'm
be
curious
honest.
to see what happens to Dana Rohrabacher.
We are curious, but we're not going to stay on the air. We're not going to stay on the air for Don Young, the Dean of the House. But sorry, say that into the mic, Nate.
I'd smoke weed with Dana Rohrabacher.
Okay,
Oh,
there you
God.
have that.
It's a fucking Nazi. It's one of the top Nazis. Gates, him, and
We did reach out to Dana Rohrabacher for our 420 show.
We reached out to
his office.
Congress people for the 420
We were trying to get
show.
high with a
we were
member of
trying to
Congress.
get high with Congress. Speaking of Nazis, Steve King is actually up by 0.1% at the moment. That said,
We're drinking the Prosecco regardless.
We are.
Or we can switch it over to Gianforte if he loses.
That's true. Gianforte is on the ropes,
He is
but
losing in Montana. Great.
there are still 98. Sorry, 98. It's only 68.8% of precincts counted for Steve King. At this point, may as well view detailed results here because why not? What else are we waiting for? They're D plus 34. They're still waiting for 19% roughly to come in. So it's looking like most of the districts that they're waiting for, D plus 6.
This is in the Steve King race?
This is in the King race.
So there's still hope is what you're saying.
Oh, there's a lot of hope.
Yeah.
There is.
There's a lot of hope.
There's a lot of hope. Hancock, R plus 17. That's not good.
You stop talking now.
Okay. Well, anyway, there's a lot. There's a lot to come in on Steve King.
Sir, stop it.
I guess he doesn't want you to talk
What
anymore
was the
about
name of that district?
What was the name of that district? Which?
Hancock.
Hancock. Yeah, there's a Hancock district.
Intern Nate.
Intern-
Hey, get it together, Intern Nate. You were talking before we came in here that Democrats are going to learn the wrong lessons from Gilliam's defeat in Florida and other so-called progressive defeats this election.
Was I saying
I mean,
I guess you were saying that 3 beers ago.
that? Yeah. I don't think I was
because
saying
he was
that.
connected to our
What was your-
revolution.
wait. Talking to the microphone. Talking to the microphone.
Gillum had been endorsed by our revolution. Gillum had been endorsed by so many of these relatively progressive groups. But on the other hand, Gillum had bought into imperialist politics as a governor, as a gubernatorial candidate, just to get pro-Israel voters, just to get anti-left-wing.
Didn't he
Latin
call for a
American
coup of
voters
Venezuela?
and Venezuela, Nicaragua? He didn't have to speak on these things. These
Shit.
weren't important things for him to talk about.
Microphone.
Yeah, sorry.
Shepe, I'll get you to react to this because here, can we? I guess why don't we get a critical alert?
This is worthy of a critical alert?
Not really, but
Let's do it anyways.
let's do it because we don't. When else are we gonna get to do critical alerts? 6 minutes ago, AP reports that Ann Wagner is going to win re-election.
Oh, and
Not a surprise. Not a surprise. It was lean Republican. There was an outside shot that she would get upended, but I wanted Shepe's reaction to this because Ann Wagner is on the House Financial Services Committee, and she is one of the most vile fucking pro-bank people you will ever see.
She's
They play
she shouts.
tapes.
She's a really
Well, they play
aggressive.
tapes of her lectures during torture sessions.
I mean, they're shrill, is what you guys are saying, but she does. She shouts in the face of regulators who come before her, who she didn't support during the Obama years and stuff, and really gets on a tear about one completely irrelevant thing as if it's a gotcha, and then starts screaming at them that she's got them. These regulators are full of it, and they're hurt Americans because of these kinds of things that they're doing, and it's like. She's
To me, she acts like she's overacting on a soap opera every time that she has every time she appears in a committee hearing. But she's lost her gavel, so that's good.
Compare that to Rothfuss, who thank God lost today, who's just he's just kind of tells you the data version of his and then you get his Lukemeyer, who's going to take over for Henseling probably, and Lukemeyer.
You mean for ranking? Yeah,
he won't be the head, because ranking member Maxine Waters is now going to be the chair.
I'm sure
But he'll be
Trump's
the
going to love that.
Yeah. But did you see the banks immediately, just a week ago, less than a week ago, they put out a statement talking about how you can actually talk to Maxine Waters. She'll listen, and it's really interesting. It was really where I work and a lot of other places and stuff. People were like, well, we think that this was a ploy. But the banks did this big thing that had an ad that was basically like, everybody can talk to Maxine Waters. Her office will listen to anybody, even if she disagrees with us. She will agree with some other time, and it was scary.
Not to single out Ann Wagner as a uniquely shitty Republican on the House Financial Services Committee. Someone who reminds me of Ann Wagner and how they behave on that committee. One Sean Duffy of Wisconsin, which if you know, real
He's
90s
Yeah.
kids fucking know this. Sean Duffy was a cast member on The Real World, MTV, and he fucking, you know what? He
So
fucking
much.
acts like it on the House Financial Services Committee because
He's
he
a
is always
performer, too.
he is
He gets really, really freaked out. And stuff.
he's always
He's
filling
just
his
not
diaper.
drunk
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Intern Nate, what say you?
Nate, here's I want your reaction to something that was said in the chat room here by Kevin, noting that Gillum went down by like 5 points in the polls as soon as he brought Hillary Clinton to campaign with him in Florida. I guess not. Guess I'm not too surprised.
I mean, maybe this is like the negative Boston fan in me, but I'm kind of worried that the lack of success among the Bernie Sanders wing of the Democratic Party's senatorial and gubernatorial candidates will result in a push for a more kind of blue dog strategy from the Democratic Party.
that's what I was trying to get at earlier.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
I kind of gathered that after I let the beer settle in.
But it's going to be a lot more.
Here, give him the mic.
Wait. Here,
Yeah.
actually, hang on.
It's going to be a lot more difficult right now to do that because you're going to have, first of all, you have the biggest, highest profile new members and stuff who are going to have a lot of power. in terms of-
Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah,
and Rashida
Ocasio-Cortez
Tlaib.
most of all.
You
Tlaib,
trust that they're gonna
Omar,
wield it?
Like, there's just so many of these young up and comers who are super progressive, who are much more left and willing in some cases to call themselves socialists, and in some cases to be a little anti-imperialist. That like
Got a long way to go.
Barbara Lee for speaker.
you're not gonna. You have a new generation, whereas you had the Conyers era and the era of those other like ones who are now passing, who were anti-imperialists in their bones, but they're gone.
Well,
I just want to give an update on a race that people who closely follow the ideological fight within the Democratic Party are going to want to pay attention to, which is the Nebraska, the 2nd District of Nebraska, lean GOP. Kara Eastman is currently not doing so bad, but not doing so great. Probably not going to win. 3.8% percentage points behind Don Bacon, who is the Republican incumbent. There are still 22.3% of precincts left to go. Kara Eastman, though, is pro-Medicare for all, and this is a Nebraska district. It's a lean Republican. So we have a left-leaning Democrat who's hanging on here. This hasn't been called yet. Not looking good, but doing well, and in a part of the country where
let me.
people constantly wring their hands, but can Bernie Sanders win in like the Midwest?
Let me
or
temper
whatever
your
fucking-
expectations a bit here. It looks like they've called the race for Steve King. in
Oh no! Are you
Nazis.
fucking kidding me?
So,
Another
Who?
fucking
Who?
Nazis.
Who?
Our chat room, our research team in the chat room,
Yeah, they're.
Nat Squid is calling it for Steve King. So we aren't ready to
He's
make it
gotta-
official
he's gotta
yet,
have a
but
difficult life in D.C. then.
Let us hold off on that because I'm in denial.
well, it looks like our pray for these dipshits to lose. Neither are going to lose. These ghouls are going to return to Capitol Hill. Ted Cruz and Steve King. Steve King.
who's working for the clampdown.
Did any ghouls lose tonight? Like real ghouls?
David Bratt.
David Bratt lost.
Yeah.
Gianforte's losing, right? Or is not losing anymore?
Those guys are such beta
Oh
ghouls,
shit! Yeah,
though.
Steve King is up by
This is
0.9
henchman.
now.
Last time I saw Scott
Oh,
Walker was
no.
losing, but he's likely gonna come back. He was narrowing that gap a lot. So, yeah, not.
Dave Brad, I was telling Sam Knight this earlier. Dave Brad is the kind of guy who you see walking around your freshman dorm with his sweatpants on and a shirt that says like "Eat, Sleep, Economics." That's Dave Brad. And you know what? I'm fucking actually. I was passing him off as like a beta henchman, and not that satisfied with a loss. But now that I think of it, I'm kind of happy he lost. Fuck that guy.
We have finally reached into Wednesday, one day after Election Day, but
The day after.
polls are just closing in Alaska.
Give me the.
I like Alaska politics, man. Alaska continues to surprise me as a state. It's got that kind of
indigenous people.
Yeah.
Do we have an?
It's like Maine. It's like Maine. It's like the farther north you get, the more independent thinking you get.
They're the more they're shut-ins in the frozen cold, and all there is to do is to knit wonderful scarves that have politics about caring for your neighbors. That's what they do. So leave them to their own devices. Get Alec out of there, or the Koch brothers, or whoever.
Yeah.
And some of these places are pretty close to being socialist.
Yeah, they've got the permanent fund.
They totally. Yeah.
I mean, that's not really socialist, but it's
UBI,
redistributionist.
it's
It's
sort of
nice.
UBI.
It's nice.
Sam, do we have
want oil money.
anything to report?
We do.
Do we have a
We
big
do.
thing to report?
We have a critical news update. I think
critical hit.
critical alert, seeing from both Politico and AP that Democrats have flipped the 2nd district of Minnesota. That means Jason Lewis has lost.
Jason Lewis, cross him off.
Jason Lewis
on the wall.
What's his deal?
Jason Lewis's deal is that
He's down there on the bottom row. You got bingo on the bottom row, folks.
he's a freshman.
If you big to Jason Lewis,
He's a freshman congressman who is a
hey, buddy.
who's a former conservative talk radio guy. He won for the Nate. Say hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Thank you. He won for the first time in 2016 when Trump won, obviously.
There's a lot of people that rode on that wave that did not last very long at all.
No.
Like Poliquin.
Like Poliquin,
Yeah.
yeah. Poliquin's out. Jason Lewis, he.
At least in the House,
Shepe just saying that all of New England is now in the House Democratic.
Which was one of the fantasy Congress questions.
One of the fantasy Congress questions, although Susan Collins, unfortunately, still there.
Shout out Bates College Bobcats, Jared Golden, Big Cat Scratch.
So Jason Lewis, as a House Congressman, as a former conservative talk radio guy, as we were noting earlier tonight, he said some pretty ridiculous shit in his time.
Punchable face.
And he only won by a few thousand votes last time. It seems like Hillary Clinton is the one who let him go over the line there.
Zoom up, dude. Look at that dude's face.
Just because she dragged down the ticket, obviously.
It's more than a chin. Scroll up again, Nate.
No one else can see his face.
No one else can see his
I
face.
Describe
But
it.
Okay,
describe
Nate,
it,
describe Jason Lewis's face on this Bustle article.
Lots of bags. Under the eyes. Multiple shopping
bags on bags.
His eyes be shopping. That's how much. That's how much bags.
Okay, so basically, here's one example of what a fucking demon Jason Lewis is that in 2011 on his conservative talk radio thing, he was discussing Herman Cain and allegations of sexual misconduct. Nate doesn't want to hear it. It's pretty bad. It's basically like saying that women are liars. I don't know if it's worth quoting.
He's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of fucking shit, and he lost.
You can put devil horns and cross him off on in the
Wasted.
zine. So I want to pick up on something Shepe was saying earlier about all these progressives, people who call themselves socialists, coming into Congress here in the House on the Democrats' side. I guess the first real test, and they won't even be a part of this, is going to be the election of a new speaker for the Democrats in the House. And then after that, I guess we can bracket that off and talk about what Pelosi's chances are. She just gave this speech.
Yeah, awful.
Makes it seem like she wants to be speaker, and everybody just assumes she's going to be speaker.
Right.
But after that, we know that a lot of these members, when it comes to foreign policy, aren't quite as far left as some of us would hope for. And I would say when you go to Congress and the forces you surround yourself with, they don't tend to push you farther to the left.
Right.
So what are the chances that we do see a lot of these candidates actually keep up a lot of their leftist
I mean, I think
politics?
First of all, just quickly, since we're talking about the House, but I do want to say anybody who is listening or watching who has any way to push any agenda that would call for the head of Chuck Schumer should do that.
Figuratively.
And should make it happen so that he is no longer
Both leadership,
you know,
right?
Yeah, he's no longer
Pelosi too, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, but Pelosi will have gained
His proverbial
a bunch
head
of House members, and you'd have to really prove that she had actually lost. She could have won a lot more, but with Schumer, you have the evidence.
Yeah,
right. Like they
you're
lost
right.
some races they should not have lost.
Yeah,
and he, he said for the whole time, if you're going to go against the party and vote with Trump, it's okay. The Democrats will not hold you accountable. We're not going to hold you accountable for Gorsuch. We're not going to hold you accountable for any of these other judges, for like a legion of federal judges, along with finally, obviously, Kavanaugh. And then, like also 2155, the deregulatory banking package. You've got all these other things, the tax bill and stuff, where he never drew a line. He never said, hey, if you cross this line and you support this, we're going to cut you off or something. And that's spinelessness. I mean, he should totally be culpable for a bunch of centrist Democrats losing.
Yeah. Yeah, particularly Bill Nelson, if Bill Nelson goes on to lose tonight. That was one he should win.
Yeah.
But
Governor Skeletor, yeah.
So, but what of these people? So answer the question, Shep. What of all these leftists that are coming into Congress now, and the chances that they get influenced the wrong way now that they're walking around those halls with all those lanyards
it's
and
bad. There's a lot of money.
dipshits?
There's a lot of people and groups who will do it repetitively. I think first of all, somebody needs to people who can train you and not getting a little bit brainwashed in this, feeling like you're powerful, feeling like these people really care about you and can bring these stories and then bring those votes or something else to that effect, and that you can sell out a people, the Palestinian people or whomever else, it will be enticing. And somebody has to sit them down and say, get ready for this. Don't buy it, because they're going to come constantly. And the other side is still there, and you still have, a sense of solidarity with them. I think that there's also a possibility that if they band together, that they'll also, you have these women are Palestinian, are Puerto Rican, are like are Muslim and stuff, and like they're able to identify with each other on a certain level that if you had a bunch of white progressive congressmen win, they wouldn't. Like there are certain things they'd all experience, and there's certain things that would be abstractions to them, and that's around international, and that's around the communities they come from.
Can I cut in before we go back to Nate? Can I cut in with a critical alert?
Of course you can. 1 second here.
It's related to what Shepe was talking about.
Okay.
Critical alert. AP Politics reporting that Antonio Delgado is beating John Faso in New York's 19th congressional district. He is going to win. Faso is going to lose. Get this. It's an Albany-era district. And Antonio Delgado was attacked by Faso as a, quote, big city rapper. So can you guess what the connotations of that are? Look, this racial dog whistle was it was so obvious and so bad. It was too bad for the New York Post.
It was a racial record scratch.
Yeah.
Racial record scratch.
So it was. This is what the New York Post, the fucking New York fucking Post, had to say about the fucking Rupert Murdoch owned New York Post had to say about this. So bad for them that they said Delgado, quote, Delgado is a native of Schenectady, not a big city rapper. Schenectady, population 65,625, and a Rhodes Scholar who graduated from Harvard Law School and went on to work for one of the nation's largest lobbying firms. So this racial dog whistle, so bad, New York Post, fucking had to call it out. And Faso has lost, and Delgado has won. And so I felt like that was a critical little.
It is
that is certainly deserving of
that. It is an anti-racist victory, and the extent to which this is representational, the extent to which this is somewhat material because of the policies that they'll push as message bills and stuff like that. But these kinds of moments do actually have an impact locally in those communities that voted one way or the other and stuff. And having somebody like King in is going to make things a lot worse than having somebody like Delgado in.
Yeah, I wanted to go back to what Shepe was saying about, Tlaib, and Ocasio-Cortez, Look, I think it's easy to be cynical about the the corrupting pressures of the United States Congress, and we should be cynical about that. But I think ultimately what should be pretty liberating about having people like this in Congress is that we can theoretically have pressure on them, not just as constituents, like whether you live in Ocasio-Cortez's district, whether you live in Rashida Tlaib's district, but theoretically we as leftists can have influence over them. So you should use it.
We have
Maybe
a lot
that's
more
like a
influence
really
over-
bullshit
We have a lot more
self-reliance
influence
take.
over Kanye West than Billy Corgan. You know, he is such a libertarian little fuck. You know.
No,
Well-
I mean, I guess that kind of sounds like pablum, but
I think it's a nice positive note.
It's a-
intern Nate. It's a good positive note.
trying to be positive.
And I don't mind ending the night on a positive note. I know that a lot of people in the chat room who've stuck with us tonight appreciate
Go Montana, by the way.
you watching
Democrat
us.
Socialist
The New
transgender
Colorado?
comrade, who won state senate and the state delegates. They got a DSA member in. They've got a Democrat House member, governor, and senator now. It's Go Montana.
Scott, we're getting a
Great.
report from Kurt in the newsroom that Scott Walker could still lose.
You ever look at the Scott Walker's sideburns? I don't like the way he shaves his sideburns.
Does he not have them?
He shaves them off. It's
yeah,
fucking
that's
weird.
yeah.
I do have some bad
Scott
news. I do have some bad news to bring.
What kind of bad news?
Gianforte is
Wait.
actually he's ahead. Are you gonna do the critical?
Well,
alert?
he's just ahead or hasn't called it yet.
No, yeah.
Okay, no critical
But
alert.
he's
That was
ahead.
That's my
false
last
alarm.
comment of the night.
Look-
Look, there's only 28.9 reporting, but doesn't feel as good as it did a few minutes ago when Gianforte was down, does it?
Look.
It's not.
Intern Nate's got to get going.
I gotta get
People in
going.
the chat room are worried about you, Sam, but they're praising you for how you've just pushed through it tonight. You did it. You were pretty sick earlier
You know what Sam
tonight.
did? He resisted. He persisted.
Oh my God! What are we offering any kind of odds on what Hillary Clinton is going to say
Pokemon,
tomorrow?
What?
We're
looks
gonna
like
we're
people
gonna open.
finally
Oh yeah,
open
that's
up
right.
the champagne.
Kurt's all right, we're gonna
Open
open
the
up the champagne.
champagne.
Wait, can I finish this thought?
Yeah,
Wait.
finish the thought.
Then Nate's gonna have a
I was gonna
joke.
say a dumb joke, so go ahead.
I was just gonna say that. What are our thoughts on Hillary? She's gonna like take credit for this tomorrow, or
Looks like
or
they
what's going
finally
on?
Pokemon went to the poll.
Well, we can all hope that she is going to claim that she's responsible for this and launch her 2020 presidential run.
Please do. I want that. I want it. I want the hate to flow through me.
Also, Vermont got a Republican governor.
They've had one.
I know, but
Northern New England,
there's a
man.
lot of people.
Shout out to everybody again in the chat room: Jeff, Joseph, Kevin, Luke, Sarah joining the
Tane.
chat for the first time. Sarah saying it took her years to figure out how to comment, participate, but she's in the chat room. Did I mention Joseph, Alex, all you guys? Thanks for tuning in and giving us news. You guys helped it. A nice rich sound on that. Pour me up some.
Good work.
This is for maybe Scott Walker ending up losing tonight.
It's a good one.
Wait. This is for Jason Lewis.
Oh,
Because
David Bratt.
David
The
Bratt,
country star?
Jason Lewis, the Minnesota talk radio guy. He was a fucking scumbag. Corey Stewart,
Punch that guy, dude.
fucking white supremacist, got his ass beat.
Interns get
I will not. Folks. Let me be clear. Let me be clear, folks.
Where's the intern cup?
There are 2 cups that I haven't filled.
Give me this
One is for you, and one is for me. Now, folks, let me be clear. I do not support Tim Kaine, but Corey Stewart losing
Well, what the
is
Cambridge police did was
something that I will have some bubbly. I will drink some bubbly.
Now, what the Cambridge police did was stupid.
Kurt is
I think Professor Lewis and
this is a beer summit. This is a beer summit. So we are gonna have a little toast here, I guess. This is what?
now what the Cambridge police
By the
did
way,
was
I
stupid.
get. Oh, wait. Oh, here's another thing we can talk about. We can finally fucking talk about this. This is something I've been wanting.
Talk about the Senate Banking Committee and the House Financial Services Committee.
I would love to talk to
Drinking
you.
the champagne, then I'm gonna call it.
Okay,
a night.
Nate's about to go.
We're about wrapping this whole thing up here. So finish your last thing that you wanted to talk about here. Nate's dropping the mic. He's out.
Nate's out. Nate's out. Peace, Nate. You're gonna miss this conversation, Nate, because we're about to talk about.
He needs his 8 hours, man.
Okay. We'll get. We may or may not get back to the House Financial Services Committee. This is something pertinent. We got to get this off our fucking chest before the night is over. We got to get ahead of this story. We can finally talk about how fucked up it was that Beto O'Rourke was talking like Obama. I did not want to bring that up. I was gonna tweet about this, but I didn't want to tweet about it because I was like, this is helping Ted Cruz. I do not want to be helping Ted Cruz in any way, so I will not tweet about this. But Beto O'Rourke, he was imitating Obama. That said, he did very well tonight. He did better than I thought. So maybe talking like Obama
works.
Maybe it worked.
Whole generation of former CIA agents talking like Obama.
It didn't work.
That's
for
our
John
future
Ossoff.
for the Democratic Party.
Pretty amazing, by the way, how Nate just filled up his glass and dipped.
Yeah, and then he's gone. All right. Can we start wrapping this up?
Oh, Nate is peeing. He might come back.
It's called a restroom.
Can we wrap this up?
Yes,
I don't
we're
know.
wrapping it up.
I feel like I could go to like 4 a.m. here.
Check out @SamKnight_1. He'll be live tweeting for the rest of the night. We'll pick y'all up on some of these open-ended races like Gianforte.
Josh Gottheimer is a piece of shit, and he should have lost today. And we know what you're doing in the House Financial Services Committee.
We're watching you.
You little.
All right, all right. Let's stop it right there.
We know what you're doing.
We know what you're doing.
King! Get his ass!
We'll recap all this stuff on tomorrow's District Sentinel Radio. Subscribe on Patreon, patreon.com/District Sentinel to listen to it. We're here in D.C. so that you don't have to be.